Welcome to Business on Purpose, the podcast for hardworking entrepreneurs who drive our economy. I'm your host, Barry Barrett, and as a sales leader and business owner, I understand the challenges that come with entrepreneurship. Each episode, I am interviewing business owners who have faced the same struggles you have. Low revenue, a lack of scalability in their sales force. Together, we're going to explore their entrepreneurial journey and uncover the valuable lessons they've learned along the way. From mentors to advice, we'll dive deep into what has helped these business owners get unstuck and move forward towards success. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned entrepreneur, the podcast is for you. Be sure and follow and subscribe to this podcast as we learn from the experiences of successful business owners and navigate the road to entrepreneurship together. Let's get started.
Yes.
Welcome to the podcast. Yvette is your copy closer when you want to take your audience from pre-launch to paid. As a conversion copywriter and launch strategist, she helps service providers find the right messaging and the positioning to get their offers sold. She crafts copy that builds brands, brings their message to life, and converts prospects into clients. Welcome to the podcast, Yvette. How are you today?
Thanks, Barry. I'm good. Doing quite well. How are you?
Good. Man, if I was any better, my name would be Yvette and I would be living in Jamaica. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I grew up in the eastern part of the island. It's a fishing village called Manchaniel. I lived there for the formative years of my life. And then when it was time for me to go to college, I had to move to the capital city, which is Kingston. I moved, finished my undergrad, and want to go back home on occasions because I now live in the city.
That is so good. So you've got polar opposites of the way we speak. I'm a Southern kid from the United States, and you have a way better accent than I ever thought about it. I wish I had yours. Goals, right? So tell us a little bit, how did you get your start?
Okay, I fell into copywriting and then it became intentional. So I started out on a little platform called Not So Little Anymore, Fiverr. I wanted to make some side income. So I said, okay, let me try Fiverr. My first job was to do a $5 blog post for a security firm in America. They were based in Florida. And after that, I started getting some traction. Then the client started asking me to do website copy. So when I started to research, because I tend to research things to death, I realized, okay, writing website copy is nothing like writing a blog post. So I need to learn more if I'm going to give them something that they can actually use for their websites. I started doing a lot of research, started doing some courses. At the time, it was hard. So I was doing like $10 discount courses on Udemy, working my way up until I joined Copy School by Copy Hackers. They headed by Joanna Weeb. She is the one that basically popularized the term conversion copywriting. So that's a form of persuasive writing that gets people to take a specific type of action. So it's whether they're signing up to your landing page, to join your email list, or whether it's to sell them something on your course, or trying to get them to convert into just booking a call with you on your website. So I had to learn all of that. And that's how I started doing more into copywriting. And I realized I enjoyed that more than the content marketing, which would be the blog post and stuff. So I started focusing my energies there.
Oh, I love that. You said a security firm in Florida. What kind of security firm?
Okay, so they work with homeowners and business providers to provide cameras and security alarm systems for their clients. So it was more about talking about the issues that could arise if you didn't have cameras to support you. So for the business aspect, we're looking at how to protect your business from anything that might happen and you didn't have a security system, access for employees and stuff, how to protect your home, for the residential side of things. So yeah, that was that firm's main business.
Do you remember the firm's name?
Oh my gosh. No, not at this time.
I have a client in Florida that does that.
Okay.
I just told you I got back from Tallahassee, Florida.
Yes.
That's who I was visiting.
Oh my.
Yeah, their name is Redwire.
Oh no, that wasn't.
Yeah.
That wasn't.
So
it.
I have 5 of those types of clients
Oh, nice.
that do security, just like what you said,
Yes.
residential. If you go back and listen to my last episode, Bates, that's the type of security too. So that's good.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Good.
I'm a business coach, and most of the people that I've interviewed so far I know them really well. And that's why I love interviewing people like you, because I just find out new things, and then these commonalities together. So that's
Yes.
so good. So you started in Fiverr, and you're like, I'm going to take my shot at this. And then now you've grown into a larger business. How long ago was that? And where are you today? And what do you have in the pipeline now?
Okay, so now I'm basically in the growth stage of my business. So I'm
Yeah,
trying to solidify my processes, streamline how I work with clients, and to start actually doing for myself what I've been doing for clients, which is
that's
being consistent with my marketing, growing my email list, and putting myself out there, because I no longer want to be my client's best kept secret. I don't want to be able
yeah,
to go out there, generate more business, and eventually grow.
yeah, that's so good. And so how long have you been doing it now? You said, did you say?
Yes, yeah, it was 6+ years.
6+ years.
Yes.
I couldn't remember. I know you said that before. So 6+ years, and you've gotten here. So now you're eating I call it eating my own dog food, doing for myself what I
Yes.
was doing for clients. Because
Nice.
honestly, that's what you do when you're an entrepreneur. You find something you're good at, you start doing it for people, and then you can slip on your own because you're
I
so busy
certainly did
outwardly.
that.
Yeah. So how are you doing that now? You're in the growth stage. So what is your plan right now? What are you doing to do that?
Okay, so right now I'm in 10x Freelancer, which is a course by Joanna Weeb from Copyhackers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's geared at helping copywriters build their businesses as
Yeah.
a conversion copywriter. So I've been in it for a while, haven't really had the time to implement everything. So I'm starting over the top modules and actually being now intentional in terms of taking advantage of the office hours that they offer, because before I would just read everything else but be my little corner. So now I'm actively venturing out. I've also recently concluded a course by Ari Hale. It's about allergic to holy, and it was teaching this. It's a live course, 1-year program that essentially teaches persons how to streamline the businesses, structure the business, working with clients. So that's the part I'm working on now.
Good. I like that. What I'm hearing you say is you're buying online courses, learning how to do things, and then implementing those types of strategies and things in your business. And
Yes.
the first time through, you just went through it and learned, and now you're going back through it. And I think that's the thing is I have this thing where I talk about it's knowledge, understanding, and then wisdom. And so
Yes.
if you look first thing, you learn the new thing, the knowledge, and then you go through it again and you start to do the practices, and then you start to get more of an understanding. And if you do those long enough, you get wisdom around how to apply them. So give me your strategies of how right now you are scaling your business as far as practical, everyday actions.
Okay, so in terms of practical everyday actions, I'm actively sorting out my Dubsado platform. So I'm trying to not be as much working in the business, which means I'm auto responding to everybody that comes in. So that part of it, I'm setting up my Dubsado autoresponders, setting up how I connect with clients, and that part of the process for the intake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also now looking towards further implementing what they're teaching in copy school. The next thing is hiring, which is a VA. But for me to get to that stage, I need to map out my processes, work out my SOPs, which I'm in the process of doing, which I got a course from Amy Porterfield, which included some SOPs, which I'm looking to convert into something that works for my business, because I realized that for a lot of several entrepreneurs that I follow closely online, several of them have scaled back, and sometimes it had to do with their hiring practices in terms of having not hired appropriately for the roles that they needed to fill, or not having a process in place to monitor what they've had, the persons they've hired. And so they've lost track of what needs to be done.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm trying to be very strategic in terms of that portion of it. So right now I'm mapping out my processes from start to finish. And I'm doing that as I go through each client. And then I'm working out the SOPs so that when I do get to the stage of hiring, I'm like, yes, I'm doing this in a way that will definitely help me to scale properly and that I don't make the mistakes I'm seeing from others.
All right, Yvette, what I just heard you say was you had a hard time hiring people. And so what you're doing now is setting up the processes. And Isadora Sharp, who is the CEO of Four Seasons, said that you have to systemize the predictable so that you can humanize the exceptional. And what happens for people is they don't systemize the process before they hire people, and then they're not really leading well, so it doesn't go as well as it should, even if you hired the right person. So we teach right people, right seat, RP, RS. And so the first thing that you have to do is you have to make sure that you have those processes documented. And then when you do hire the right person that fits your core values, and then they get, want, and have the capacity to do their job well, you can teach them to execute on. And then you can have the 4 T's, which are, we have to train people, and then we can trust them, and then we will have more time and more treasure. So I call those the 4 T's: train, trust, time, treasure. Does that make sense?
That definitely makes sense, because as one of the pillars in the course is systemizing everything, so it makes it easier for you and the people that work with you to get things done. So I definitely can understand how all of that relates to the 4 T's that you've outlined.
Yeah, if you don't have something documented, by definition, it doesn't exist.
Definitely.
And you cannot hold someone accountable for something that does not exist. I'm an EOS implementer, and the foundational book for that is called Traction. Have you heard of it?
Yes, I have. Yeah. It's actually in my Audible playlist.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
I'm an implementer. You mentioned Amy Porterfield. I know her implementer. She runs on EOS, which is cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you didn't know that, right?
No.
Yeah. And there's a book in our Traction library called Process, and I'll send you a free copy when we get off of here. And as a matter of fact,
thank you.
For the first 10 people who are listening, if you'll email us at bwpcoach.com, then we will send you, first 10 people, a free book of Process as well, because process is the setting of the sail of your business, really. So that's good. I love it. So where are you headed now? So are you doing an online course that you're going to launch later? Is that one of the goals that you have?
That is one of my goals, but not for this year.
Yeah,
that will be more like next year. This year, I'm still working out on ensuring that I have my systems, processes in place. And then once that is all set and I have my people onboarded, then I can consider expanding into course creation.
So are you going to keep it small? Are you going to keep, is your 1-year plan by the end of this year for it to be you and then start hiring next year?
Yes, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Because I'm giving myself enough time to ensure that everything I've organized is done well enough that I don't break things too quickly.
Yeah, you're way smarter than me. I would just break stuff and then figure it out later, which probably made it harder for me to grow.
But then it also means that you learn faster, which is a problem with me. I like to test things out to death. So, it takes a while to learn the lessons that you need to move to the next step. So sometimes it's better to just quickly break and move on. Yeah,
when my first company was sales training, and I was fairly young. I started doing sales training when I was 32. And so people said, man, how did you learn how to do sales and teach sales at such a young age? I said, I made a whole lot of mistakes faster than anybody else. So it allowed me to learn, right?
Yes.
So it's good.
Give you a joke when it comes on to sales. I had a friend who was in insurance, and they have an intake test that they do to see your aptitude for selling insurance. Mm-hmm. After I did the test, he's like, that is the lowest score I've ever seen. So,
really?
Yes. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to be cut out to be an entrepreneur, because to be an entrepreneur, you need to be able to sell. But then when I started liking the conversion armor copywriting, I realized I had to learn how to be better at sales. And I know I'm good at it on paper in terms of selling my clients' businesses, but in terms of face-to-face selling me, that's where I struggle. But I have all the copywriting frameworks to effectively put it out there on paper from start to finish. That's why I use the term pre-launch to paid. So learning those frameworks helped me to start grasping the concepts of sales so I could get better at it because I realized that was definitely one of my weak spots. So I
Yeah.
needed to learn how to improve before I'd be able to help anybody.
I can tell you that I've been teaching and running sales teams for a very long time. And I have never, I like personality tests and predictive index and Colby and Enneagram and all the tests are great,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't take much stake in them when it comes to sales, to be honest with you, because it is a skill set and I can teach people the X's and O's and the ones and zeros of selling.
Yes.
You have what it takes to be a good salesperson because you're a very likable person. And I can see you have a nice smile, you're approachable. Everything else is just taught. And I think those tests get in people's way
Yes.
because the people who would score well on those tests are a lot of times people who, I don't want to go down that road. I'll tell you this. When it comes to those tests, I have taken people who you would never think would be really great salespeople, and they become the best salespeople that I know.
Yes, so it all depends on the coaching and investing in your skill set.
And really starting to believe in yourself and listening
Yes.
to the coaching and doing what is done, and you can become a good salesperson. The only criteria for me is that you must love people. If you don't love people, you just are not going to be in sales, right? And so the hardest part is, and I was trained, and so I'll tell you, it's selling yourself is the hardest thing to sell. I always tell people it's illegal in most states. And so you have head trash when it comes to selling yourself. I do too. And so you have to surround yourself with people. And really the mindset is, I'm not selling myself, I'm selling the system that I teach. And I'm just the person who delivers that system.
Yes.
Right. And then you can charge for that, and it's actually a good thing. Then the higher you charge, the better it is for your client, because the more people pay for something, the more they are likely to use it.
Definitely.
Yeah. So that's good. I love that. So you're getting your systems together and you're going to hire next year. What do you think the first hire is?
The first hire would be a VA or a business OBM.
Online business manager or a VA.
Or a VA.
So which one would you think that you're going to hire first?
I'd go with the VA first based on what I'm learning in one of the courses. So I think that's the first step.
Very smart, because there's a lot of stuff that you can do. And if you go and you're listening to Traction online, you can go in there and look at the delegate and elevate exercise.
Yes.
And then if you do that exercise, which is really quick, all you got to do is go in there and list all the things that you do on a daily basis. Right. For 2 weeks straight, every hour, just list all the things that you did. And then you categorize them. There's 4 quadrants. And the first top left quadrant is things that you love and you're great at. The top right quadrant is things that you like and you're good at. And the bottom left is things that you're good at, but you don't like. And the bottom right is things you don't like and you're not good at, right?
Yes.
Delegate all the things down here and do the things up there. Is that
Those
good?
are definitely the ones at the top are the high ticket options that you need to focus your energies on.
And I'll tell you, the thing that I found out about getting a great VA is they can actually, once they start doing the things that are smaller, they can actually start to learn how to be more of a practice manager or a business manager. So that's really good. And so you hire this VA, and what are the things that you want them to be doing?
Handling initial client intake, be there for client facing in terms of any issues that clients may have, support the marketing efforts that I'll be undertaking, and working with whatever contractors that I'll be using for those marketing efforts.
That's good. One of the things that you can do that, and I try to help people, especially when they're really young in their business like you are, do you know what a sinking fund is? Where you're paying to pay for something later?
Yes.
Is I have people, and in the past, I've had people create a sinking fund for, so a VA. So if you're like, okay, a VA is going to cost me $2,000 a month, let's call it. So what I would start to do is pay this sinking fund $2,000 a month for the next 6 months and see how that works out, right? See how I'm managing my cash flow, paying this account $2,000 a month. If you can't do that,
then you definitely know you can't.
Then you better chill out, right? So then you're like, okay, what can I do? Maybe it's 1,500, or if it's 1,000, and you start paying the $1,000, and you're like, okay, $1,000 is easy. So what can I delegate? How many hours can I get this VA for $1,000 a month? Because you can comfortably do that with the time that you have. Now that you're paying them 1,000 and you delegate those things, still doing the things you don't like, out of necessity, that 1,000, let's say it saves you 10 hours a week. Now with that extra 10, you should be able to generate more revenue, and then then that sinking fund, you pay the VA 1,000, you put the 1,000, and then now what happens is now you have 6 or 7 months worth of money sitting in there that you didn't have before, and now you're paying them. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
So that's helped a lot of people hire their first hire, because they already had this 6 months worth of pay sitting there that they created a fund for. Anyway, that's good. I like that. So what else are you working on right now in your business that you think is going to help you move past the growth stage?
What else am I working on? It's more about improving my skill set as well. So I'm doing a course on user experience for copywriters. So I normally provide wireframes for my clients to give their designers to create their website copy. So it's about a layout of how to set out the copy on the page so that it flows well. But I also realized that there are gaps in my knowledge in terms of design. So I'm doing a design for copywriters course, which is helping me to better understand I'm not a designer by any long shot, but I'll be able to have better conversations with their designers when they're asking questions, making suggestions about what to do with the copy once it goes on the page. So I think I'm improving my skill set so I'll add more value to what I'm offering my clients.
Oh, I love that. Increase your value, increase your worth, and then increase you can always increase your fees at that point. So tell me what your ideal client looks like.
My ideal client is someone who they're in one of 3 phases. My avatars are: 1, they need a compelling online presence to enhance their authority. Or they're in phase 2, they're looking to develop a lead gen funnel and nurture their audience. Or phase 3, they've done all of that and now they are at the level where they're developing a course or a program to sell, and they need high converting sales copy to support that process. So what all of them have in common is that whatever service or product they offer, it delivers a true value and transformation, and they care about the people that they serve, and they definitely want them to succeed. So that's how my clients are.
Oh, I love that. That's fantastic. So where can people find you?
Oh, certainly they can find me at my website, YvetteJWriting.com, or they can find me on Instagram or Twitter at YvetteJWriting.
Oh, that's fantastic. It has been an absolute pleasure to talk with you, Yvette. I think that you're on the right track. I think you're doing unbelievable things, and I'm super excited about your journey moving forward.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you for being here.
And thank you for having me. It was my pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a good day.